And it looks like we are now live on Facebook. Thank you so much, Sandra. Thank you, Sarah, for joining me tonight on Ditch the Diet, Face the Feelings. And we're jumping off in May with the mindfulness and building a better, bigger, more aware relationship with our bodies. And so in the group Nourish, this week, starting the week today, finishing next Wednesday, we're starting this week off with write a letter to your body. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I've had that experience before. About 2 years ago, I was doing a course on healing and wholeness. And one of the first assignments we got in this course was writing a letter to our body. And I was then still very much of, I'm a celiac. I suffer from celiac disease. Okay, so listening to my language, I am owning the disease, saying that's what I am, defining myself according to that disease, and suffering from it. And I wrote a letter to my body telling it everything that it was doing wrong, berating all the problems that I had and all the ways it was letting me down and all the things I was frustrated and mad about. And it was really eye-opening.
How did your body respond?
Well, obviously I kept getting worse and worse because that's what I kept telling it. And when I saw on paper what I was saying, I was horrified. It's like, this is how I'm talking to myself. This is what I'm saying. Every time I get sick, I am mean and nasty. Oh my gosh, I'm nasty. But the beauty of the exercise was that I saw it with fresh eyes of going, oh, whoa, this is my internal dialogue.
Like, would you ever have said any of those things to your daughter?
Oh, I wouldn't say that to anyone in the world. Even my worst enemies don't deserve to be spoken to like that.
Yet
but yet we
lash out at ourselves with all of that.
Oh, horridly, you know, and the more pain I was in, the more harsh and I was. And I sat there thinking to myself, you know, if I saw a dog in pain on the street, I would not do this to it. I would be gentle. I would be soft. I would earn the trust.
So why are we so hard on ourselves? Is it because deep down we know that every step we took got us to exactly where we are, and so we blame ourselves for our...
Oh, there was a lot of punishment. Yes, absolutely. But I'd love to hear, Sandra, your experience with this.
Okay, I've done several letters to myself and to my body. And what it really does, it opens up that inner voice in you so that you recognize how hard you are on yourself, both mentally and physically. And in response to what Sarah was asking, why do we do this? We've actually been trained from little that we don't accept ourselves. We don't appreciate who we are because that goes against everything. We're supposed to be strong. We're not supposed to show our feelings. And we begin to really beat ourselves up.
Or we're supposed to be humble, and we're not supposed to be, you know, egotistical.
Yeah.
There's so much gray area in there.
Yeah. And it's really, I don't know, when I wrote my first one, it was like, I'm like, Beth, what I was saying about me, I would have never said to anyone. It's just not how I was or who I would verbally. But yet it's fine for us to get into our heads and do all this yucky self
Deprecation.
talk and yeah, and just beat ourselves up in our head.
Yeah.
But I think too, we've also been, because of the way society is, we don't recognize that we need self-love.
Yes.
And the self-love can only come from our own inner soul. It can't come from the outside. Because if we don't self-love ourselves, if we don't love who we are, it doesn't matter how many people throw love at you. If you don't feel that you're worthy, your self-talk is never going to change. You'll always beat yourself up. You'll always beat your body up for not being strong enough, healthy enough, physically fit, the right size. And I think in addition to that, it's really important once we write that first letter to then take and write a letter to your present self. How do you view your present self? And then write a letter to your future self as how do you really want to see your body?
Yeah. And just be more graceful about it. But and I know for me, and that's what this first week's all about, it's getting out in the open, it's exposing yourself. It's literally, okay, let's take this out of the dark. I want you to put on paper everything you say to yourself in your body, where you can see it, where it's no longer hidden. Because if we're going to deal with this, if we're going to talk about it, it can no longer be hidden. It's got to be exposed.
I think too, the other thing is not just it can't be hidden, Beth. If you don't bring it out, you can't heal from it.
Right.
You need to bring it out front and center. And nobody needs to see these letters.
No, exactly.
You know, honestly, the best thing that you could do with these letters is write them and have a nice bonfire stating, I release you and I love you. And you are whole, you are healthy, you are happy. And whatever you want to say when you're burning those letters. But I think when you do that, you actually really, you heal that inner soul.
Mm-hmm. And that'll be part of what the challenge brings at the end of the month to burn or whatever means you want to destroy them with, really eradicate those thoughts from your life.
Yeah. And the other thing too is we all think that when we write these down, that it's done and it's over. Our own self-work is never a one and done.
It's exactly, it's ongoing. And so part of the challenge in May that we're doing in Nourish is that every day there is a new meditation, which will be about just, it's weekends, they might get up to 20 minutes long, but it's every day is a different meditation, a different body scan, a different awareness of being in your body. And just bringing people into not, get out of your head and come down into the body, And I remember, when I started my spiritual journey years ago, I'm trying to remember the name of one of these guys, Jeff I can't remember the name. It's gone right now. But he has this amazing awareness of, okay, so center your awareness in the middle of your head, behind your eyes, between your two ears. Just bring all of your awareness to that spot where you're completely present in the present moment. And now take your awareness over to your left ear and feel your hair, feel the air around your ear. And he just goes through the entire body that way, gently and easily, taking you to organs, taking you to your skin, taking you to the surface you're sitting on. But just this beautiful moment of being in the present moment, just in your body. You know, what does the air feel like on your index fingers right now?
Mm-hmm. You know, using that type of awareness and really feeling into what's happening in our body. That's how I got that intuitive hit on the fibromyalgia. It was because I really tuned into what does my body need to tell me. And it gave me the exact answer I needed to give to my doctor to be able to come up with a protocol to clear the fibromyalgia completely from my body. But if I wasn't in that quiet meditative state, I never could have heard that message. So, you know, getting ourselves into that quiet space so we can really start to listen and hear.
And that relationship with our body is not being busier. It's not doing more. It's not, you know, oh, I've got to be more productive. It's like, no, that's sometimes I've got to do less in order to do more.
Yeah.
Sometimes I just need to sit.
But don't you think that when people say, oh, we've got to be so busy, it's because we live in such a fast-paced world where when you're sitting and just relaxing and meditating, closing your eyes. My ex used to do this all the time. He could meditate. But the minute I sat down to do it, it was like, well, don't you have something to do for the kids? Well, it was like, and I think that's what happens, right?
Yeah.
It's either somebody in our world
or our inner critic.
Or our inner critic says, but you can't sit for that 5 to 10 minutes and take time for you.
Yeah. God forbid you take time for you and your body.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, just since the beginning of the year with these daily meditations that we do, it has become so evident and apparent how necessary it is to take that time to really just
to
get
slow
aligned
down
and
in order to get more done.
Yeah.
It's funny because we don't think about it that way. And pardon me, ladies, but when shit hits the fan, we're way out in goddamn back end quarter, dodging the binds and dodging the bombs.
Yeah.
And we have no idea how to slow our brain down.
Yeah. It's all the more important to sit and meditate then.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. So if you just do some proactive work.
Yeah.
And start on that inner pathway of learning and quieting the mind down. When crap hits, you can handle it.
And crap will hit. Guaranteed.
So you're still going to swing off of center, but maybe just because you start this wonderful meditation practice, you're not going to swing out as far in the extremes as you used to, and you can return to center easier
much
and
faster.
more quickly. And overall, that is just so much better for your body to reduce the stress and eliminate the cortisol flooding
And I would put it this way, like I used to get really stressed and then I do a Netflix binge or a reading binge or a social media binge of a week or 2 weeks.
Mhm.
Now I get stressed and I might do a Netflix binge of one evening.
Yeah.
If that
Yeah.
can be called a binge. But but you come back to center so quickly of, okay, so last night I didn't do what I planned on doing. I needed a break.
Yeah.
Fine. Absolutely fine. So I took a break. It wasn't in my agenda, but I needed it and I took it. And I wake up this morning and I'm back on track.
I think that becomes that we're really honoring
Mm.
our body.
Yeah.
We're honoring our mind, even though,
Yeah.
our mind is kicking the heck out of us, but we still honor that part of it by doing those things.
Yeah. I mean, since clearing the fibromyalgia, I can work long days now. I can work 10 or 12 or 14 hours, but I still have to remember to listen to my body. And basically, by the end of the day, when I start thinking about, okay, I'm done working, now what should I do? And my body's like, you should go rest. And so I listen to it. It's like, yes, I do need to just go and just be present and relax for a bit.
Yeah.
Because that's still what my body needs.
And I think it is that beauty of listening to that, because I remember with celiac at its worst moments, if I did 3 to 4 hours of work with focus, that was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had days where I've woken up at 4:30 in the morning and I've got an idea in my head and it won't let me go. So I start working on that. And it's 11 o'clock at night and I'm still going. And my body says, hey, we might want to take a break now.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, yeah. Okay, I need to sleep.
Yeah.
I need to rest. But it's a totally different space from 2 years ago, where it was like, well, I made it through the day. Wow. And I'd be hanging out for, X time of day because I can't wait to crash.
Yeah. For me, even 6 months ago, I could work for, 4, maybe 5 hours a day. And other than that, I was just wiped out. So
yeah,
it can change.
Yeah.
And one of the most wonderful lessons, and I've mentioned this before, when I did that letter to my body in the very same class of healing and wholeness, I watched the Stephen Levine video about end of life. And in that video on end of life was when he spoke about mercy and compassion to yourself and to your body. To that part of your body that is causing you pain, speak gently. And speak mercy, speak peace, speak grace, speak compassion. So if you've got a gammy leg, don't curse the gammy leg. Love the gammy leg.
Right.
More love, perhaps, than you're giving to the other one, as opposed to cursing it and, oh, it's playing up again.
Yeah.
And as I've stepped into that compassion for the different parts of my body, the ones that regularly gave me problems, I'm noticing change. Because I'm no longer cursing them. I'm no longer saying, well, you're never going to work okay. I was talking to a friend today who, he had to do an MRI. He was said, I really get claustrophobic in the machine. You've got 6 inches or whatever above your face. And I just, don't like it. So I went in this time and I was having a bad week. He's like, it's not my best week. So I asked him, it's like, can you just give me something, knock me out, whatever you want to do. Just give me something. And I just don't want to be awake for this. And they're like, it's just your shoulder. It's nothing major. It's, and he's like, no, I don't care. I just don't want to be awake for this. He's like, so they gave me an IV and I hop in the machine and I'm in the machine and I'm like, I'm totally relaxed here, but I'm totally clear-headed.
Saline drip.
Did they give me a placebo? So he's going through this, and he's like, he spent the whole time going,
Wondering.
wonder. I mean, I'm calm, I'm okay. And he was like, is this all in my mind? You know? And I was like,
Yeah.
I mean, who knows? They might have given him something, they might not have.
We just gave him a little bit of normal saline.
That's exactly what he said. He's like, they might have just put water in there, man. They might have just given me some saline.
Yep. I'm going to bet that's what they did, because if they didn't have a prescription to write for some kind of a sedative ahead of time, they wouldn't be putting anything in there. Oh, that's funny.
So I mean, we had a bit of a chuckle, and I was like, you know, they probably did. They probably just gave you saline solution.
But his mind was believing that it was working, so it was working.
Yeah.
And the power of the placebo is intense. It's real.
Yeah. And so, you know, I mean, and that's why it's so important the way we speak to ourselves. I mean, we talk about the importance of how we speak to children. We talk about talking to our plants so that they grow.
Yeah.
Talk to our plants more nicely than we do to ourselves.
Well, I would absolutely bet that we do. I would absolutely bet so. Yeah.
Yep.
And if we're beating ourselves up for that, you know, and then we're sitting there going, I'm not getting the results I want. You know, if I'm telling myself 6 days a week, I can't do this, and on day 7, I go try, guess what happens? I don't do it.
Can't, because you've been telling yourself you haven't been able to.
I mean, it's not that it's all mindset, because I don't believe it's all mindset. But there is the aspect of mindset. And so, you know, this Week in Nourish, like I said, it's about bringing all of that to the surface. Let's say, okay, this is my inner critic.
Yeah.
This is that negative self-talk. Let's just put it all on paper. And would I dare give that to somebody else to read, to say, well, this is how I talk to myself? I probably wouldn't, because I think I'd be absolutely ashamed of it. Oh, I don't want them to see how I talk to myself.
So doesn't that mean that you are ashamed of those thoughts anyway, even if we don't acknowledge the shame as we're going through the thought processes? Mm-hmm. Interesting. So we keep ourselves in any case, same cycle.
Yeah. So first I'm beating myself up, and then I'm ashamed because I'm an abuser. Yeah.
And then you feel guilty.
Oh.
Right. And then I give myself flowers and ice cream.
Who needs an abusive partner? We can do it all ourselves.
Absolutely.
Oh my gosh.
But you know, there is a lesson in that for us.
Mm-hmm, definitely.
And you know, the same way we would want to shine light on any other abusive situation, let's shine light on this one too.
Yeah.
You know, let's call it out.
Yeah.
Let's say, no, this is not okay.
So not
this
even
is how you're
just
talking.
Dancing around the idea of writing a letter to yourself. Let's call out that bitch and just stop being the self-abusers that we are.
Yeah.
I feel so much more powerful to think of it that way.
It's called your bitchy voice.
I might have one of those somewhere.
Yeah. But I mean, you know, and I think that, you know, in this exercise in May in mindfulness, we're all going to learn so much. I mean, I'm going to redo the letter. I imagine, Sandra, you're going to redo the letter. It doesn't matter that we've done this before. It doesn't matter when the last time you did it was. What you're saying to yourself has probably changed, but you still need to shine the light on what you're saying now.
Yeah.
Yes. Because
And then we're going to build from there. Then we're going to, you know, because you do need to build on top of that and make changes. But first, let's say, okay, this is what we're doing.
Yeah.
I think
This is going to take a major act of courage, really, to be honest, to put all of those thoughts in writing on paper. It takes an act of
Yeah.
courage to do that. Well, I challenge
Absolutely.
everybody to be courageous in May.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
it really
And
does. It takes that inner, I can do this.
yeah.
And it's I know when I had my first assignment to do this, it took me
I do believe I might have
a
procrastinated a
long
little
time.
bit.
Yeah, I did. I know I procrastinated on mine because it was like, I don't want to write this. I want to say these things on paper.
Right. But that's the whole point of the exercise,
Yes.
is to see what you're telling yourself, is to bring it out and say, yes, okay, this is how I'm talking to myself.
Like, how many times a day do I do something and go, oh, I'm so fat?
Or, I mean, I know my,
I have a lot of
you
hash
know,
marks by that one.
oh, so stupid. You know, I mean, and you know, when I called myself out on it, I was like, what am I telling myself? Why would I speak to myself this way? I would not say this to anyone else.
Yeah. The other thing that I
So
know
anyway,
that comes up is you're so dumb. That was so dumb.
yeah.
Hmm.
And yet you would not say that to anyone else.
No.
No.
This will be
So
interesting.
come and join us in Nourish if you're not already in the group, and come join the challenge. It will be challenging. That's the entire purpose of a challenge. So you're going to be a little bit outside of your comfort zone. This is going to be uncomfortable. But oh my goodness, you will get an opportunity to grow.
Yeah.
So I know, Sandra, you have a 100-day program starting soon, happening soon. Tell us momentarily what you've got going on.
I have a 100-day challenge going on. I actually created a separate group for the challenge, and it's for ladies that are part of My Body Wisdom, Psychology Beyond Dieting, and it really borders on this. It's all about self-love. It's about what you say to yourself. It's about loving your face, looking in the mirror and saying that you love yourself, learning to breathe, learning to do some movement. It's really based on loving who you are right now.
Yeah.
So that's
in the present moment.
the present moment.
Yeah. All right. So in the comments, we're going to put a link to Sandra's eating psychology group. And obviously we will remind you all of the link for the group of Nourish, where you'll be able to find this challenge and come participate with us in the whole month of May. Being mindful, getting into your body and body mindfulness. So we really look forward to seeing you there, and catch you up soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Good night.
Night.